We all know what indie games are, we've all played them, we've all been there, we've all done that. Whether you look at games like Geometry Dash, Super Meat Boy back on the Xbox 360, Doritos Crash Course, so many iconic indie games. But in the last few years, indie games have come a long way. They are considered more than just little platformers or little fun games you play with your Xbox avatar. They have become a full-fledged unit. Take a look at some of the titles that have come out recently from independent studios, okay? To me, an independent studio is someone that isn't garnered by a huge company like EA or Ubisoft or even Microsoft. You look at games like The Finals, to me, that's an independent game. It's a free-to-play, independent game by Embark Studios, and it is a wonderful game. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's full of content. The gameplay is out of this world, but that is what I would consider an indie game in this day and age. The same as Fragpunk, the same as Splitgate 2 that recently came out. All of these games are independent games that are built by independent studios. Now that just shows you how far we have come since the days of the Xbox 360 arcade to today when you look at an independent game. Take for example the gameplay you are seeing on screen right now. You are seeing some gameplay from Splitgate 2's open beta. Now Splitgate 2 is developed by a development team called 1047 Games. They've been developing this for a few years now, and this game is completely free to play. Splitgate 2 is full of content. It's got loads of maps, different game modes, weapons, classes, loadout abilities, weapon attachments, weapon skins, character skins. There is so much stuff to be found and to be unlocked in Splitgate 2, and it is completely free. You know, even if you buy the battle pass, it's not that expensive at the moment. Bear in mind that is in beta, so it could go up when it is the full release of the game, but as of right now it's only $4 to get the battle pass. But this game is what we consider an indie game today. In this day and age, this is an indie game. Now compare that to the likes of Super Meat Boy back in the day. That was like a revolutionary indie game. All these independent games are now looking, feeling and playing just like AAA titles did back in the day. To me, AAA titles are things like Call of Duty, Far Cry, Tom Clancy games, Rainbow Six obviously, Battlefield, Forza, FIFA. All these sorts of games are all considered AAA games. Unfortunately, as time has gone on, these AAA games have started kind of lacking in content, lacking in innovation, lacking in mechanics, whereas all these independent games are really taking the reins and driving the community. Not only Splitgate 2, but The Finals is a game you guys know I love. I play the absolute crap out of that game. That is another independent game created by Embark Studios, former employees of DICE and EA, and to me, that's one of the greatest shooters out. In fact, someone actually described it online as the best shooter of this decade. Now that is a huge statement, considering the game is made by an independent studio, it is free to play, it is cross-platform, and it's just like playing a Battlefield game on steroids. It's insane that these studios that are considered AAA and quadruple A in Ubisoft terms charge you full price for games, which by the way, they are now increasing the cap of that to like $80 for a game. What happened, man? I don't get why they're charging more. These games are unfinished, they're not polished, they're lacking in content, they're lacking in customization, they're lacking in innovation, they're taking so long to make now, there's delay upon delay upon delay, and they still want to then charge you 80 quid and then charge you for stuff in their item store, and then charge you again to use the battle pass so that you can then earn customization and progress your player, your profile, your character, whatever. And then by that point, you spent about $110.
Like, what the fuck, man?
This is why I think AAA games are falling. This is why I think AAA games are gone. They are done. They are finito. Doesn't matter what you launch. Even the likes of Call of Duty have had to use Xbox Game Pass to boost their numbers up, because people are not willing to pay anymore. I know I certainly am not. Are you still willing to pay $80 for a game? That's a bag of shit. On this channel, you'll kind of notice I tend to push more the free-to-play titles. It's very different than what I used to do, and I think the main reason I'm pushing a lot of these free-to-play titles is because I've always been in a position where I couldn't afford to buy games on release. I could never afford to buy battle passes. I couldn't really have that kind of spare money about to just go and buy this and buy that. I've always been that kind of person that doesn't like to spend the money if I'm not going to enjoy it. And to me, another big thing with that is also Game Pass. The only reason I have half the games I have is because I pay for Xbox Game Pass. To me, that makes more sense. There's a lot of games that I see, I like the look of, I'd like to try, and then if I don't like it, I can just uninstall it and I've not wasted any extra money. Now, the beautiful thing with Game Pass, this is why I'm bringing it up, is because a lot of these free-to-play titles, which are independent titles, it's all on the same topic, don't panic, I'm not going off track. They are all now getting perks from Xbox Game Pass. Like on the finals, I recently got an in-game item pack, so it came with skins, came with animations, sounds, all this other sort of content that's worth about €20, and I got it for free because of Xbox Game Pass, and they're now adding that to a lot of these free-to-play titles. But I'm not seeing things like this, these little perks, these little bonuses coming out for any big major games. You're not getting a new weapon skin in Far Cry 6, you're not getting a big item pack in Black Ops 6, there's nothing like that happening. I think a lot of these companies are actually pushing the independent developers and trying to support them more because they know that they are carrying this whole industry right now. It's mental when you think about it that there are more people playing these free-to-play titles than there are people playing Call of Duty nowadays. You know, I mean, Fortnite is a huge example. I detest the idea of playing Fortnite. I hate Fortnite. I think it's a load of crap. I think it's stupid. I think it's gone beyond... It's just gone, mate. It's done. But it's still one of the most popular games in the world. Still one of the most watched games on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick TV. It is one of those games that just will not die. But it's a fine example of showing the way that gaming is going. And in this generation, it's only getting more and more like that. A lot of games are coming out and they're choosing the free-to-play option. Whether they've got a campaign or not, you may have to pay for. I feel that's fair enough, because they're putting the work into the campaign, so I feel like, yes, I would pay for a campaign, but I'm not paying full price. Like, for example, in Halo Infinite, you got the multiplayer free, completely free to play, and the campaign was like $30, I think, 29, 30, 35 bucks, something like that. So that to me is fair enough. But I refuse to pay $80 for a game that is unfinished, unpolished, completely lackluster in content, and overall just a bag of shit. I personally feel that in the next decade, in fact by the end of this decade, AAA games will no longer be a kind of title that we give to these games. I think it will be something that we don't say anymore. I feel like it will be just, you either have games or you don't have games, because these independent developers that don't have these $1 million budgets, these $100 million budgets, are actually doing so much good work and carrying this community that the AAA developers are struggling to keep up. They're all set to kind of rules and regulations from their parent companies like EA and like Ubisoft and Microsoft and Sony and this, that and the other. But a lot of these developers don't have any kind of exterior publishers, external publishers. They just publish it themselves. There are so many indie games out there today, you know, not just shooter games. But recently I've been playing a police simulator released by a company I've never heard of in my life, and it's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. It's not perfect at all, but it's still a lot more fun than playing half the janky crap that comes out of these $100 million developer studios. That's just my 2 cents on it. I feel that AAA games are on their way out. I do feel that a lot of these independent developers that are making these free-to-play games are really going to start taking over, even if they're not free to play. When they're a paid game, they're still reasonably priced. You know, I bought Hypercharge Unboxed for €23, and it's a fantastic game, fantastic indie game, and it's made by something like 6 people or something stupid. It's insane, and it's such a good game, and it just goes to show that you don't need to kind of be fed all this crap by these big companies to find good games. You can find a lot of good games using the Game Pass on PC and Xbox, for example. Great way of finding new titles, independent titles. You haven't got to pay the extra money, and if you want to buy that game and support the developer, then you can. You've still got that option. But that's all what I'm thinking. I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys sitting there thinking the same thing as me? Do you think AAA games, AAA development studios have taken the piss out of us for too long? Do you think that they're going to be fine? Do you think that there's going to be kind of like a battle between the two kind of genres of games? Is it something that you really care about? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm always interested in hearing what you guys have to say. It's been great coming back to the channel. I'm really enjoying my time here at the minute. and it's really great having a chat with you guys down in the comments. Also, make sure you join the Discord server. We sometimes have game nights. It's a great way of promoting your content if you're a content creator or a streamer yourself. Great way of meeting new friends, just having a chat, having a laugh. It's a great place to be, so make sure you come and join the Discord. And of course, leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. It'd be great to have you join the Fordy fam. We're nearly at 1,000 subscribers, so we're just pushing. It's going to take as long as it's going to take. I'm not giving up this time, I promise you. So let's do this. Let's get into the 1,000 club yet again and show him who's boss. That has been it from me though. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day wherever you are in the world. I hope to see you sooner rather than later. So until the next one, my friends, adios.